Hello. How's it going, everybody? Everything should be good. Hello. I was gonna say I read hi Josh, and I'm like, and I was gonna read hi Josh. How was everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Wait, who's Josh? Who's Josh? That's a joke, right? Huh? Well, it's me. I'm Josh. I guess if you've only ever attended Iggy's streams, maybe this is a bit of like a surprise. It's like, who is this? I don't know what I'm drawing. Give it a few minutes. Wait for people to start coming in, and then we'll start soon. Josh is me. Josh. Okay. Do you want to? Why is Josh? I thought you were doing Rush Hour 3 reference. I want to talk to you. I am you. Like, what? No, you. That's what I told you. Who is me? Yeah, that one. No one knows what I'm talking about. Has anybody even watched Rush Hour 3? Or is that like just long gone now? Nobody watches. Right? No one knows what Rush Hour 3 anymore. Because I feel like when I said it, I'm like, you know what, now that I think about it, Rush Hour came out when I was like in elementary school. So I wouldn't be surprised if no one knew what Rush Hour was. So honestly, wouldn't be surprised. I realize my eyes are a little bit not at 100% just because I wear like sleeping contacts. If you don't know what sleeping contacts are, basically I wear them while I sleep and then I take them off during the day. But the quality of my vision is dependent on the quality of my sleep. And right now it's a little questionable. So we'll see how this goes. I might have to do a lot of zooming in and out, which is not great for you guys, I guess, but yeah. Let's go with this. But yeah, we'll be starting soon. It's gonna be a good one. Doing character design. That's always a fun one to do, to work on. So yeah, I don't know what I'm drawing. I feel like it's like, yeah, I just ended up drawing. I was gonna draw Cuphead originally, because always can never get too much Cuphead. But then partway through, I'm like, how about I draw Pinocchio? Because why not? Yeah. Heard of, never seen of it. What is Russia? Yeah, what is this? What's crazy is like some people, dude, I love Back to the Future. It blows my mind how some people have never seen Back to the Future. He needs glasses now. Yeah, Koke. You and me both. Yeah. Oh man, this would be so much easier to animate if this is what we were doing instead of the Ghost Hunter kid. This is so much easier to do. Oh my. I should have just designed it like this. Some bizarre not that bizarre, but somewhat bizarre character. And be like, yeah, this is a Ghost Hunter boy. So much easier. So much regret. Oh well. What can you do? What does Pinocchio wear? Pinocchio wears like a hat, I feel like. Every time I see him, he's wearing a hat. So Animate's long-nosed boy, yeah. Pinocchio times Cuphead design. I mean, that doesn't sound too far off. I feel like that sounds very believable. I think that wouldn't be too much of a surprise. Yeah. I don't know what Pinocchio wears. What is it? He wears like a hat, but now I'm like blanking on like what type of hat he wears. Oh well. Well, either way, that's kind of it. We gotta start the stream. We'll never know what Pinocchio's hat is supposed to look like. He just has. It looks like he has a do-rag on. It's a Pinocchio. You know what? We're gonna make Pinocchio wear a knitted cap, and because it's almost Canada Day, he's gonna be wearing a toque. It's a toque wearing Pinocchio. Why does Pinocchio have a toque? I don't know. A toque. Because it's almost Canada Day, so Pinocchio's wearing a toque. And here, we'll just to make him a bit more friendlier, we'll add a little pom-pom on top for Pinocchio. Here, we'll just this is so random. Well, yeah. Let's change the brush a bit. Welcome. I can't spell as usual. Welcome to our character stream, everybody. Hello. Ooh. Nice. Cool. In Canada, we wear toques because toque sounds fun. Pinot. It sounds like Pinot. Pinot Tokyo. That's pretty good. Oh, hey, Faye. Oh, Faye's here. I don't know if you're still here, Faye. Yeah. Love Back to the Future. Those movies are so good. I could watch Back to the Future anytime. It's such a good movie. Okay, well, hello everybody. We're gonna get started. I know I wanted to finish our little Canadian Pinocchio, even though he's Italian. And for the longest time, I thought Pinocchio was German. I don't know why. I think it's the outfit in the Disney Pinocchio. He looks, I don't know, the clothing makes me think he's German, but he's not German. He's Italian. But hello everybody. Welcome to our stream. Today we're gonna be continuing in our animation series. This is part 2. If you missed part 1, yesterday we did a storyboard sequence to plan out what kind of sequence we're gonna animate throughout these like 5-part kind of sequence. So yesterday was storyboard to plan out what we're gonna do. Today we're kind of finessing and fine-tuning our character design, because if you guys have tuned into our animation stream whenever we used our ghost character or ghost hunter character Nils, his look kind of flip-flops. It kind of changes over time. And so this is the time where we are going to cement what he's going to look like. And then the week after, or not the week after, but the next time I stream, is going to be an expression sheet. So this way we can fully figure out what Nils' personality is going to be and what kind of facial expressions he makes. So it's going to be a good one. And then after that, it's going to be the actually animating, where we're going to animate the sequence we storyboarded and using everything that we planned out for the past, or for the first 3 parts of this animation sequence series. So yeah, I guess if you first time joining and you thought we were designing Pinocchio, I guess you might be a little bit disappointed because we're not animating Cuphead style Pinocchio or anything. But yeah, so as usual, before we start our stream, gotta do our little housekeeping and kind of welcome everybody here officially to our stream. So hello everybody. Hope you're all having a good Sunday and welcome to our stream. If you don't know who we are Wing Canvas, a YouTube channel where we make art tutorial videos on tips, tricks, and drawing advice to better help our fellow art nerds in this art community of ours. Our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone, so be sure to tune in live for free lessons every Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So hello again, welcome. Thank you for being able to join us. And if you are an art nerd too, be sure to check out the links to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for class offerings where you can get critiques, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel. If you didn't know, we are also a school of illustration that originated here in Canada. So you can not only just learn from our YouTube channel, but you can also learn from our actual classes taught by our instructors that you kind of already gotten to know through our streams. And we'd also like to personally thank our incredible Patreon and YouTube members who support us in making free art education content. Members get access to a ton of perks, like exclusive chats with our creators, weekly live critiques on Discord, class recordings, digital artwork files, and artworking files from our streams, and discounts on live programs that have a limited amount of spots. So if you want to help support the channel or accelerate your learning, consider becoming a member. And you can see here on my screen right now, we have our schedule for when we do live critiques. And the next upcoming one is by Faye. She's going to be showing up live on our members only Discord channel on Friday, where she will interact with whoever can show up. And for people who want to just drop their pieces off and want to get some feedback on it, that's what she's going to be there for. So if this sounds enticing, I don't know, who knows, maybe you might want to consider becoming a Patreon member. So yeah, and then before we start, we are again sponsored by the lovely people at XPPen. XPPen is sponsoring our stream once again, and we'd like to thank them for it. And just like yesterday, they are promoting their contest. So our sponsor XPPen is having a contest with digital art tablet prize packs. And I guess while I'm reading it, I'm just going to bring the website so you can see what it is. But yeah, they have a contest with digital art tablet prize packs. The theme is The Little Prince's Journey. Draw his journey from planet to planet and all of the characters he meets along the way. You could win an XPPen screen tablet, so hurry. There's only one more day to submit before it closes on June 24th, so go check it out now, and the links are in the description below. So right now on my screen is what it should look like when you go to their kind of contest page. And if you're curious as to what the prizes are, you can click one of these and it will bring you to kind of just the overall collaboration between XPPen and the Little Prince, and you can see the little team ups. So they got these special boxes, and they got these little, you know, the gloves, cleaning cloth, stickers, a lot of neat little merch and swag that you can, if you're interested, maybe check it out. So yeah, again, thank you XPPen for sponsoring the stream. Can't thank you enough. So yeah, and with that being said, we are going to start and get into our stream. Now, if you guys were here yesterday, you'll realize that I forgot to do our shout out to our art challenge submissions. So every month we have a new art challenge, and this month was summer clothing. And this is the last week to do it because next weekend we are off because we have Canada Day. So the entire weekend is kind of like a holiday. So that's why this is the last shout out and last opportunity to do it. If you missed out on this month's challenge, no worries. There's going to be a new challenge coming for next month, and you can submit your drawings there. And hopefully, who knows, maybe you'll get a shout out on our streams. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to do a little community shout out. So the first one, and we're going to do this quick because this is a little bit more than the usual amount. Usually we try to shout out maybe like 3 or 4, but because I forgot it last week, or not last week, yesterday, I kind of slightly just picked all the remaining pieces, all the remaining submissions. So we don't have too much, but just a little bit more than usual. So this one's cool. Really love the colors. Got a great color vibe going on with this one. I believe I remember reading in the submission that the artist here, Anteater Animations, wanted to utilize a limited palette. So I think that is why it's only really utilizing these kind of teal, cyan, and I don't know, peachy, kind of orangey colors. But I think it worked out great. I think it's like really nice. It's very airy, very soft. Great just atmosphere overall. So great drawing. Anteater Animations. And great expression on the character too. Really love the pose. Kind of stylized, but still feels very well structured and well realized. And then our next one is by Fennel. Great scene construction here. I love all the characters and the lighting. I think you did a really great job on the shadows on the characters here too. You drew a lot of characters, and this is so hard to do, having a scene comprised of like multiple characters and they're slightly interacting, because when we draw one character it's one thing, you don't have to worry about the proportion comparison with other characters, but when you have scenes with multiple characters, you kind of have to make sure that they all feel like they exist in the same space. So great job here. I think it turned out really, really well, and I think the outfits look really cool too. The next one is by Solaris Stain. Great simple illustration here. I think the pose is done really well. It reminds me of that character from Sonic, but I can't remember what her name is. It's that bat character I think. Yeah, but great drawing. Really good shape work in the head and the hair flow as well. So good job there. And then our second last one is by Viola. Really love the dress design. All the patterns on it, the kind of simple implications of like shadows and I don't know, the looseness of the dress. Really well done. Looks really, really good. And the hair looks really nice too. Love the colors in the hair. So yeah, great work, Viola. And our last but not least submission is by Oki. Really love the outfits here. Very simple and not too much rendering, but I think that's okay because it lets the shape design and the flow and the different kind of elements that are happening in the outfit stand out. So great job here. I really love the choices of colors and just like the contrast of shapes and angles in the characters. So great work. Rouge. Yeah, I think that's the name. I'm not a big Sonic person, so I'm like not too sure, but that sounds correct. I feel like I believe that. Yeah. So again, thank you everybody who submitted on our monthly art challenge. It's always great to see what the community is doing, and it allows us to, you know, give you guys a shout out, and just yeah, it's great to see what everybody's working on and all just the different styles that everybody does. It's really cool. So yeah, thank you everybody, and with that now done, we can get to the main event, and we're just gonna jump right into it. It's character design. Sorry, just took a sip of my coffee. But yeah, we're going to be doing a character design, and as you can see, this is kind of what I meant when I said that Nils' character's face has kind of seen some evolution over time. And so we got our first initial one. So this is like a recap for anyone who's never seen this before. Oh, also, if you guys have watched me stream before, you might notice that I'm using a different software. So before everybody starts asking, I am using a somewhat, they're not like new, but I would say newer of the other software drawing programs that we use. And it's called Rebelle, or yeah, I think it's Rebelle or something. But it's really cool. It kind of tries to replicate how traditional software is, or not traditional software. It kind of tries to replicate traditional mediums. So like there's paper textures. You'll notice a lot of the pens here are more simplified, and they try to keep it so it feels very much like a traditional like medium. So charcoal feels and looks like charcoal. The acrylic painting and layering and oil color painting feels like it's traditional. So yeah, it's kind of neat. It does use a lot of memory though and power because of just all the texturing that is happening underneath, like the system. So I feel like if your computer is not super strong, it might lag a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely a software that kind of requires your computer to have a little bit of juice behind it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Broken Wings, I saw the storyboard. It looks great. I haven't gotten a chance to like zoom in and look at all the drawings, but it's looking really good so far. Yeah. Josh is using Rebelle for this. Yeah. I actually kind of like it. It did start lagging on me though the more I used it, but we'll see how it goes. I think it turns out really great to for like character design. And I guess I could show, like, I don't know if it'll open. Yeah. So it might take a while. Oh right, it doesn't save. You know what? We'll save it. Might take a while to load up, but I used Rebelle to work on a character design rotation for something from our animation mentorship, and I think it turned out really good because like the line work was really cool. Obviously, I did not get a chance to finish it just yet, but this is kind of what it looks like. It's kind of like our boxing character from maybe a while ago during the jump stream, where we animated a character jumping. So yeah, and like the line work and the texture of it looks really cool. So I really like using Rebelle for just this approach. But I mean, don't get me wrong, like Krita's still great. I think Krita's still my go-to for final drawings. But it's kind of fun to just experiment with Rebelle and see what I can do with it sometimes. So yeah. But yeah, that was just to showcase like why I'm using Rebelle, and we'll see how it turns out for this kind of character, because I think it might be pretty cool. So going back to our character design, you'll notice that I've got 3 different versions here. I think this is the order of how it started. So just as a reminder of kind of where we came from, this was our original design. This was Nils. When we kind of designed him with the community, you guys helped pick kind of his backstory, his personality, his character, and helped out a little bit with his outfit. So this is what he kind of looks like. We're trying to hit for that like 90s, very baggy kind of look to it. And so I really like the shape, this very triangular, almost cone-like shape, and then rectangular boxy shorts for it. And these pull-up knee-high socks. Gotta gotta go back to those, you know. But I think while we were starting to animate it, like especially doing this emotion animation stream, I started realizing that his hair might be a little bit too complicated to do for streaming. So I definitely streamlined it, but I tried to keep some of the thing elements from his hair that stood out. So it's kind of like the swooshy, spiky elements and how his hair just sticks up. Kind of Green Day, a little callback, I guess. And then that little curl in the front. So I'm trying to keep this part. So to me, the elements that stick out for this character is how his hair sticks up. It's a little bit spiky, and then it curls down at the front. And then later on, when we got to the mouth animation section, I simplified it even more, and I actually quite like this, and I think I'm going to lean more into the one that we used on this one, just because it's the most simplified, and it should be the easiest one to animate, especially for the sequence that we're about to do. I think getting all that hair in might be a little bit tricky, so this is the one we're going to use, but I'm going to keep all three of these references just because it's kind of neat to have a reminder as to some of the elements that were working in all three of these renditions of him. So it's a little bit of a reminder, and maybe we could even think of it as like a keepsake to some degree as to what he looks like. So yeah, I think I might actually put it over here. Don't have a lot of space. So so what I'm using right now is actually a reference tool that's part of Rebelle. So if you go to Windows, if you ever want to trial Rebelle, you do have to pay for it. It's not a free software. There's a reference image in the Windows, and if you click it, this thing comes up, and then you can upload images that are on your computer, and you can choose to see them or not to see them, and they pop up as individual images in Windows. And then the cool thing too is that you can draw on the references. You can kind of paste them onto your canvas as well, so it's really neat. But I don't really use it too much other than to just have a reference on the side so I can see what it is that I'm kind of looking at. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I did see someone asked if they can ask questions. A good time to ask questions? Yeah, for sure. You can for sure ask some questions. I'll try to keep an eye on them. If I miss it and it's a good question, or Kevin thinks it's worthy of my time, that sounds so mean. I'm pretty sure any of your questions are great. But if it seems like it's an important one, then he'll maybe ping it or repeat it so that I see it again in the chat. No, Leo, you're not too late. We are just about to get started. Yeah. Do you have any advice for coming up with OCs? Oh, okay. Well, I would say come up with a backstory. I think that's kind of like the misconception about character design. Like if you want to do it like very in a more, I guess, somewhat serious way, it would be to try to come up with a backstory for your characters. Yeah, try to come up with a backstory for your characters, because this way it helps to inform of what you're trying to aim for like why they look a certain way, or else you'll end up getting to drawing very like cliche kind of characters, and it can get a little bit boring after a while if you're drawing the same characters. Now obviously at a certain point some people just want to draw something that looks cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is totally fine. But if you're trying to like push the boundaries, or you're really trying to like build out a good portfolio, then it's good to think about the process of like who this character is rather than just drawing randomly. Yeah. Okay, so before we start like actually drawing, I'm gonna lay down just a ground plane, just roughly, so I have an idea as to where the bottom is, as well as a rough top plane. It's not going to be a pure, clean, what is it, character rotation, meaning like I'm not going to try to make sure like the pose stays consistent throughout the whole thing, but I am gonna try to just, excuse me, I'm gonna try to make sure at least the height and the proportions are roughly the same. Oops. So if you do try out Rebelle, and if you want to, like, in a way follow along, kind of, or get my kind of recommendations of what to try out, I am using the pencil tool, which is this one in the middle of my, on the upper left, this blue pencil, and then I go all the way to charcoal, and I've picked out charcoal number 2. I really like this one because it has like good size control, and it looks pretty good up close too. There's a good amount of texture to it. It's not, it feels realistic and not too repetitive, and has pretty good line weight control as well. So you can see here I can still draw some pretty thin lines, and it's still pretty clean. So yeah, this is the one that I'm using. I will say you do have to kind of use it pretty large, or else it's very hard for it to show up. But yeah, that's what I'm using. And yeah, so we're gonna get right to it. Gonna draw a somewhat center line for our character. Maybe I'm gonna, oops. Just gonna draw it a little bit closer to the middle. Now, when we starting this off, I'm just gonna keep it rough. I don't want to do too much, and we're gonna do a 3/4 pose. I find 3/4 poses easier to do than the front, so I'm gonna do 3/4. Side's a little bit too simplified, so I don't want to jump right to side immediately. So we're gonna start with a 3/4. This way we get a little bit of the front, we get a little bit of like the side as well, like how his hair or the ear shape will be. And I think this is where we're gonna have to make a decision as to what are his oh right, eraser. Yeah, we're gonna have to make a little bit of a decision as to sorry, trying to get the eraser. Oh, the style that we're going for. So I did say simplified, but to a certain point I think there's a degree as to how simplified we should make it. Oh. Yeah. What program are you using to do this? Sorry. We are going to be using, or I'm using right now, not Krita. I'm so used to saying Krita. Right now I'm using Rebelle. So it's kind of like a software that helps to replicate 3D, or not, oh my goodness, not replicate 3D. It helps to replicate how you draw traditionally. So you get to choose like the color, the paper texture, even like the material of the paper. So hot press, cold press, this kind of determines the texture of the paper that you choose. And then you also have a lot of mediums like brushes and paint options that are there to replicate traditional medium. So you can actually build up and move the paint, like the oil painting and acrylics. You can layer it up like impasto painting in the same way that you might for traditional, like realistic traditional, not kind of like a simulated texture in the same way that like Photoshop or Clip Studio would do it. So its goal is to make it feel as traditional as possible, and not only its look but how it's done as well. So I think that's like a lot of things that traditional painters kind of complain about when it comes to digital painting softwares like Photoshop and Clip Studio and even Krita, I think, is that it replicates the look of traditional, but how you approach it, like how you apply the paint, how you pick your brushes, and how you can drag things and move things and increase like the wetness of paint, you can't really quite do that naturally in those other softwares, and that's what Rebelle is trying to do. That's kind of like their aim for their software, is to create a very true to traditional feel as much as possible. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna also have his arm out just so I have a general sense. So in the original, we drew him with his hands in his pockets because that makes it easier for me. But in this one, I'm just gonna have his arm out because this is like a kind of typical character design thing to do, which is to do a T pose or somewhat of an A pose, so that you have a general idea as to the proportions of the character, because this is not meant to be very like gestural or exaggerated or to express personality or anything. It's meant so that you have an idea as to what this character should look like in its most kind of bland, plain look. And I'm trying to balance two things as well. My style is very exaggerated and boxy and shapy and angular, but that makes it hard to animate and it's hard to translate to animation. So what I'm going to try to do is find a good medium and a good balance between the two, where I can add my own personal style to the shape language of the character while also making it possible for me to animate once we start animating. And I think I'm going to maybe change the look of his hoodie as well. I don't know if anybody's ever watched like Eureka 7, because that's kind of an old anime. And one time I had a student where she was like, "Oh, I will never watch old anime. It doesn't look as good as like the new stuff." And I'm like, "But you're missing out on all the good stuff, like, the classics, you know?" But I kind of get it. Sometimes the old animes, they don't look as nice as before. Yeah. Eureka! Yeah. Oh, yeah, Corey, did you ever watch it? Because you like Evangelion, and I feel like that's around that, genre. Yeah, like Akira, Evangelion, Gundam Seed, Gundam Wing. Oh. I think Josh is tired. What makes you say I'm tired? I am pretty tired. It was my dog woke up at 5 and threw up, so I'm kind of I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta wake up, and it's like 5 o'clock, and I had to like just clean up the mess and everything. Yeah, good old anime with animation that doesn't hold up. I mean, no, it does hold up though. Like some of it holds up. I think it's more of like the art style. It's not it like it makes sense for, I think, if you grew up watching it, there's some kind of appeal. But I can kind of see why maybe like the newer generation, if you're used to watching something like Free Ren or what's a really good clean looking anime, I don't know, like, then it makes sense that if you go back to something like Cowboy Bebop, it looks not scuffed necessarily, but it looks not as good as like the old stuff. It doesn't have that crisp cleanness that I think a lot of more newer viewers have gotten accustomed to and have gotten used to. They're used to seeing like really clean looking animation, and I feel like the newer stuff doesn't quite have that, really. Yeah. Real cell animation looks different versus 2024. Yeah, for sure. And I think like some things help boost the look of modern day animation too. The fact that like digital coloring, you can like computer helps a lot with a lot of the repetitive stuff in the animation as well. Whereas like older stuff, you had to hand color it, hand draw it, so there's only so much you can do with it. Yeah. But it's great though. I love the older stuff. Like I get it when people go like, oh, I can't watch new mecha because it doesn't look as it looks weird. The 3D like CG for the mechas, they just don't look as good as they used to. And I'm like, you know what? I can see it, because what is it? They released a new Gundam Seed movie, And I grew up with Gundam Seed. That was like my childhood. And I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, man, that looks. It doesn't look bad, but it's not the same. Yeah. Have you all heard of the interesting Sailor Moon classic lore? About the look of it when the series moved away? Oh yeah, I heard the colors changed. Which is really strange if you think about it. Like, how does moving a series across to international televisions, why does that change the colors? But that's if I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but for Sailor Moon, that's what I heard. It's that the color's different. Yeah. Mashal. Yeah, I haven't watched Mashal yet, but I heard it's fun. Like One Punch Man. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading chat because a lot of people are putting some stuff in, but I'm gonna go back. Yeah. Visual reference, inspiration related to your character. These can be from real life existing. Yeah. Especially with, I need to rewatch Akira just because I watched that in university for like film class, and I heard so much about it. And then when we finally watched it, I was like, this is whack. This is a wacky movie right here. Like, I get why people like it, but I don't know. I think my expectations were too high. But maybe I'll like it again, because I have the same feelings for Ghost in the Shell. And then I watched Ghost in the Shell again, and I was like, you know what, this is a vibe. Ghost in the Shell is a vibe. Like, the aesthetic of it, the look of it, the sound design, the backgrounds, the backgrounds, and then the soundtrack for it too. Oh, is so good. Like the kind of traditional Japanese choir chants that are in the movie. Oh, it's so good. But I gotta rewatch Akira. Yeah, I was very tempted when they had the 4K collector's box, and I was like, $50 though? I think it was 50 or it was $60, and I was like, I don't really love the movie, at least not yet. $50 is a tall order for an anime, for something that I'm not sure if I'll like. Part of the collector part of me is like, maybe I should just get it to collect it, but I was like, nah. So I didn't end up getting Akira, but I kind of want to. Yeah. Old mechas look great. Yeah, they do look great. There's something about it where it's not super clean. Like, if you ever look at Cowboy Bebop's like Spike's ship, I forgot what it's called, but like when it's flying, you can see where they're taking shortcuts, but man, when it's like spinning and like its wings expand, oh, it looks so good. Also, the Evangelion movies, I would say those look really good, and that's because I think they are probably using some CG, but I have like the animation cell book, and they actually hand drew the mechas for Evangelion, like the updated movies, like the newer ones. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a mishmash or a combination of the two. But dude, that movie looks so good. I watched the show first, and then I watched the movie, and then afterwards I was like, dang, even though the story is whack and I don't understand what's happening, the animation is very nice. Very good. Okay, so oops. Just a little, I know we're like talking a lot, but this is where we're at right now. I think it's looking pretty good. I like the shape language and shape design of how he looks right now. It's looking not too bad. Drawstrings. So here's like a little note on folds. Usually you can get away with 2 or 3 folds. 2 is usually good enough. It's kind of like the golden number. If you want to add more, you can, but you then also have to consider the animation aspect of it. If we are going to animate the folds and him with the folds, we have to kind of take that into consideration. So part of me is also going like, should I even add the drawstrings? Because that's something I would have to animate. Even though it's like realistic and close to what hoodies look like, I'm like, oh, but I'm gonna have to animate drawstrings. Yeah, for sure. Those studios are, it's insane. Seeing those dude, if you ever look at the behind the scene drawings for for the movies for Evangelion, it's what what the heck? It's crazy. The level of technicality that is in those movies it's so good. Yeah, that's true. I think that's a good point, Malik, where it's like the limitation is what gets you to find creative solutions that you might not have thought of. And I think that those creative solutions is what helps um, make something feel a little bit special or different from what the norm is. And I think that helps it stand out and what we kind of end up liking about it, because it's a little bit unexpected to a certain degree. Yeah. Oh, art fight, right? I always hear about it because we get a lot of campers who bring it up and be like, "Oh, this is a character that I'm doing for art fight, or I submitted for art fight." By the way, speaking of which, summer camps and summer intensives. If anybody is not too sure about what to do during the summer, or if they are like, "Hey, I want to improve my art further during the summer," maybe check out our art intensives. The first one coming up for me is character design. So if you kind of like what we're doing here and you want to improve your drawing technicalities and technical skills and want to learn things like shape languages, how to draw clothing and folds and face anatomy and all those kind of things that are related with character design, then maybe think about signing up for character design camp, which is one that I am running, and it is starting in July. It is a 2-week camp program. You don't have to sign up for both weeks. You can pick and choose whichever one you want to do. But if you want to sign up for 2, that also works as well. All the projects that are done throughout camp are different. So if you're like, "Oh, I missed out on the first week, I can't sign up for the second one," don't worry. It's not a big deal. You can still sign up for the second one, and it will still be good. And the difficulty level, I would say it's kind of open to anyone. I kind of cater my feedback and my input for your drawings based off of your style and your levels. So if you feel like you're still a little bit on the newer side or you're on the experienced side, don't worry. I will cater my feedback to different levels of spiciness based off of your skill level. So yeah. Okay, so originally we had these like baggy socks. I think what I'm gonna do is, I like the bagginess. I think the original way that I drew them was a little bit too quote-unquote realistic, with too much detail. So I'm actually gonna simplify the socks to being these kind of jaggedy shapes to help sell the jaggediness and the baggy looseness of it, but I'm not gonna like treat them like realistic shapes. I'm kind of, if you've noticed, I've been treating each part of his outfit as different segments, and I think this was something that Jessie might have taught in one of her classes. I don't remember where I saw it, but she talked about shape distribution, and if you have everything too similar and too even, your character is going to look boring. The other thing, so you want to start looking for like different ways to separate it. So you can see here, I have this as the hoodie, and then it has this as the body, and then what is this, cuff, pants, and then like knees in a way, and then like socks and shoes. So I'm like writing all this out so you can see like there's all these different elements that are just in one character and in one body. And if you start thinking about like ways to keep it like interesting, this is one way to do it. Like there's a lot of ways to kind of consider like how to make the drawing more interesting and more dynamic. The other thing too is that you also want to think about the weight of the character, and weight not just in the like how much a character weighs, but weight in terms of like, is it top heavy, is it bottom heavy, is the head really big, and then the body is really long and thin and small. So that is what we mean when we talk about like weight distribution. It's not the actual weight of the character, but how does the character appear in its like costume design and its body size and body language can convey a lot of personality and just variety in your character designs. This way your characters don't all feel and look the same. Yeah. What is your suggestion on drawing mirrors? Yeah, the how to design an outfit stream. Oh, yeah. Is there? Oh, there was a stream like that. Okay, yeah. Josh loves mirrors. Do I love mirrors? Oh, well, Kevin means that I have a mirror in front of me. Yeah, because I have a mirror in front of me, I love mirrors. Mirrors are tricky. I actually don't really, now I think about it, I don't think I draw too many mirrors in general. If you're, do you mean like the reflection? Like how do you draw reflection? I guess I can see that being something to consider and think about. But mirrors are hard, just due to like the reflectivity of it. But you know what? Like with all things, if you're not too sure about how it should look like, get a reference. If you're trying to reflect in a certain angle and you're not too sure how it should reflect, set up a similar scenario. I'm pretty sure you can find a mirror somewhere and see how it reflects. Like what angle would you see in the reflection? How does it come off? All that kind of stuff. I think that might help. Yeah. Just because even I don't necessarily draw too many things that rely or use reflection, so even I'm not too sure 100%. I don't really have too much tips on reflections, but if I were to do it off the top of my head, I would find a reference for sure. You know, as I'm doing this, I'm really realizing why like designs like Sonic shoes are designed in a certain way, because it just makes it easier to draw. Okay, so what I wanted to mention before I saw that comment on mirrors is I'm taking kind of what I like about the original design, so the overall body shape language, which is something that we came up with together on chat, with chat, I mean. But like I'm not trying to replicate it completely, because even though this looks cool, this not is not necessarily maybe usable for animation, and I want to make sure that certain elements are cleaned up and solidified and clear as to how it's going to be used during animation. So like for example, the shoes in the original design are quite complex, and I don't think I can necessarily animate that, or at least not within the time frame that we have. So I'm simplifying the shoes, but I'm keeping certain elements of it, like the big flap, the shoe flap on the front, kind of like the big boxy nature of it, and maybe I'll just add like some X's for the shoelaces. Trying to find like shortcuts or ways to, in a way, cheat the system, as someone mentioned about like old school animation, how limited by the technology and maybe to an extent even like the budget. What are some ways to find and circumvent kind of those limitations? So yeah. Oh, maybe Josh just loves himself and he likes to look at himself. He's so beautiful. Wow, so flattery. So much flattery. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yes, that is why I have a mirror in front of me. Man, look at Kevin spreading all these rumors about me. How I have a huge shoe collection. How I love buying shoes. How I love looking at myself in the mirror. Look at all these rumors. Okay, so I think this is pretty good on the whole part. So the other thing I'm not too sure of if I want to add are actually like the cargo pockets on his pants, because that might be annoying. I think I might just simplify them. More like the shape of it. Just keep it very streamlined and keep the boxiness of it, but nothing too detailed. I want to make sure that it's like somewhat manageable. So all of the extra folds I'm gonna try to somewhat avoid. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. This is a good cutoff, I think, for his design. But yeah. Well, is that what you mean by using mirrors? Wait. Maybe Josh just loves. Wait. What part about drawing them? The outside, the reflection. Glass is tricky to draw. I'm working on a Coke bottle. Oh. Wait, who asked the mirror question? Was it Broken Wings? No. I'm trying to find who asked about the mirrors. Oh, Arnold. I mean, mirrors, it's just the same scene, but in a reflection, it's at a different angle. But reflection's different. Reflection, I would say the convincing aspect of reflections is to not overdo it too much. And it's all in the contrast, especially for like a Coke bottle. Yeah. We love you, Josh. Oh, thank you, Shadowbean. I appreciate the love. Yeah. Yeah. I need mirrors. Buy mirrors so he can look at his shoe collection behind him while he simultaneously checks. Yeah, at this point, everybody's gonna think I have like 100 shoes, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a huge shoe collector. Ask me anything about shoes. I know everything about shoes, for sure. Yeah." Oops. My one and only volleyball shoe. I don't even have a proper volleyball shoe. My friend was like, because I was wearing Vans to play volleyball, and my friend's like, you can't wear Vans to play volleyball. I'm like, why? They're all-purpose shoes. They work. They have some kind of grip. And he's like, no, man, you're gonna you're gonna break your ankles. You're gonna hurt yourself wearing Vans. I'm like, okay, fine. What do you recommend? What do I buy? And he's like, and he started showing me all these shoes that were like 200 $250, and I'm like, no, man, I'm not spending $200 on shoes. There's no way I'm spending that much on shoes. And so we went like shoe shopping, and he is like, yeah, check out the Adidas. Maybe you can check out Asics. And then while we're walking around like Sports Check, I see Under Armour shoe for $50. I'm like, oh, that's the one. That's the one I'm gonna get. Under Armour shoe. That's my shoe right there. Cheap and affordable, and I don't care too much about it, so it's fine. I will spend $50 on these rather than the $200 Adidas shoes. But to be fair, I can understand why you would spend that much money on it. Like feet are important. You want to protect your feet. You want to make sure that they're you don't injure them and everything. But 200, dude, shoes have gone ridiculous. Under Armour. Okay, so here's the thing: the shoe themselves aren't too bad. The insoles, the insert, like the inside, has been like wearing out because I play middle for volleyball, and I guess you need a lot of jumping, so I've worn them out. It's pretty bad. I should probably put some new inserts inside of them. The other thing too is like the tongue flap on the outside has started to like wear out because the shoelace is like rubbing against it, and I guess it slowly starts to wear it out. So I can see that the quality is not the best, but for $50, and I gotta play for the whole summer, I gotta say it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But we're not I mean, I just also critique them. Be like, hey, your inserts, they're wearing out on me, and your tongue flap is getting torn up by the shoe. Like, so I don't know if they would still sponsor us. Already, like, gave them a shout out and then immediately threw out the possibility. Yeah. I'll just volley my Vans. Hey, you know what? Like, Vans, they're not too bad. I tried playing volleyball with, like, my skateboard Nike shoes, and I got blisters. And Vans never gave me blisters. So, if anything, we should get sponsored by Vans. It's like, hey guys, you guys want to sponsor our art stream here? Under Armour critique stream, yeah. Okay, so this is our final go at the character, and I think for this, I am going to simplify his hair a lot. Like, a lot. I don't think for what we're doing, I don't think there's any way I can really make it too spiky, or else it'll be very hard. He's also looking a little bit too old, so I'm gonna round out the face a bit. I like Chuck Taylor's for really? Dang. You know, I've been wanting to buy some Converse just to try them out. But then also Converse and Vans, they've gotten so expensive. They should not be as expensive as they are, I feel like. You know, they used to be like what? Okay, Canada, what, like 50 bucks, 60 bucks. Now they go for like $100. I'm like, hello? Excuse me? Why are you so expensive? Calm down. You're not that big of a deal, you know. There goes our sponsorship with the bands as well. I was just complimenting them only to be like, hey, you're too expensive. Stop it. Don't make them that expensive. You know, this is giving me like Dragon Ball Z vibes. Slight Sonic and Dragon Ball Z vibes is his hair. Digimon, like, you know, Kai. Is it Kai? I think it's Kai from Digimon. And Sonic, because of how spiky the hair is. I'm trying to think if I should add that last little bit there. Maybe something like that. I feel like that's looking pretty good. Yeah, just destroying. Yeah. Guess they're awesome. Are they? I had an opportunity to buy Converse. They were on sale for $50, but they were like the yellow, or I think they were beige, like a sandy color. And I was debating about whether to get it or not. But then I ended up going for the Adidas Low Dunks, which is crazy because they look exactly like Nike Dunks, but they're not. Every time people see it, and they're all white. It's all white Adidas Low Dunks, and every time people see them, it's like, oh, nice Adidas. And I'm like, they're not Adidas. I mean, nice Nikes. I'm like, they're not Nikes. That's Adidas. It's like, what? They just look like Nike shoes. I'm like, yeah, they just straight up just replicated it. But you know what? It was cheap. It was on sale. It was under $100, so I would say that was a pretty good deal on my end. I'm pretty happy with that. I think the shoulder might be a bit too low, so I'm gonna move the shoulder up so that he has a little bit more of like a youthful bagginess to it. I don't even know if that makes any sense at all, but a youthful bagginess to the clothing. There, I think that looks a bit better in terms of like the age. He looked a little bit older, yeah. You came with tons of time to spare. Garlic noodles. Oh, hey, garlic noodles. Yeah. I thought I saw you on. I guess you like hopped off for a bit. Very classic protagonist. Yeah. 1 hour of content. Oh no, it's all good. We're still chipping away at it. We got lots of time. Yeah, for sure. You know what's funny is like since you mentioned time, I realized I never actually checked how much time I've spent on this. I've just been chatting and working away with cleaning up the characters. So yeah, 3 in the morning writing lore for a character. You know, that sounds like a blast. That feels like what I used to do. Just stay up till 3 in the morning just designing and drawing characters. That's the good stuff right there. Okay, now this is the hard part. The part that I've been dreading. Drawing the character's face. Because this is kind of going to define what he's going to look like. Now, I'm just roughly putting in some placeholders for where I want his facial features to be, roughly. But might change them a little bit. Yeah. If I'm going silent, is because I'm focusing in, locking in, kind of trying to get a vibe on it. I like how I drew him in the expression stream, so I think I'm gonna try to just copy that, but it's gonna be hard also because it's just really small. I might make the drawing a little bit bigger so it's easier to just draw. Actually, maybe I might just change the pen so I can draw a little bit smaller. I love drawing storyboards. They're so much fun. Hey, yeah. I mean, it's like all storytelling, so it's pretty much just coming up with ideas and everything. I think that's the fun part. A lot of people kind of forget about, you know, drawing, coming up with ideas. I think that's like the cool part. World building, you know, love world building. Okay. I think this looks pretty good for our character here. Because he's supposed to be like what? Well, I keep forgetting the details of what we made for him. I'm just gonna quickly check what we said he was. Okay. As a quick reminder, for those of us, mostly me, forgot what his background is. Okay. Oh, we came up with a lot of ideas here. Hates puns. I love that. Totally forgot about that. Let's see. Human, Swedish. Okay, 15 years old. Okay, we made him 15. And I think our last minute change was that he's Canadian. He's Canadian, but he has Swedish background. Oh my goodness. Oh, nice. Look at Kevin. So quick with the links. We've got an all levels anime class coming up this summer. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. Currently animating in Flash CS6 while watching your stream. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, if you want to post the stream, I mean not the stream, if you want to post your animation, if you're like part of the Discord, you know, I would love to see it. Get a chance to share, take part of the creation. Not take part, but like just, you know, witness it. Witness me. How long is the stream gonna last though? We've got about an hour, so we're almost there. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make this a little bit bigger. And gonna make it a little bit bigger, so more space. Easier to draw. So this is our first version of it. I think I'm gonna do maybe a side view. I'm gonna clean this one up, and now that we've gotten like a base version, I think it should be easy now to do the side view. But I say that all the time, and if it's your first time here, you know that I love giving myself overly ambitious undertakings. Let's see. Clean, rough, and then clean. Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, garlic noodle, if you need to go, for sure, don't worry about it. The stream will still be here, so you are not going to lose out. Don't worry. So I'm just gonna stick with the liner. Have it be clean. Some clean lines. Oh right, he has an earring. I totally forgot about the earring, but I guess we'll add it in. We'll add it in post, as they say. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So maybe this might actually be a good time if anybody has any questions, because then I'm just outlining at this point. So if anybody wants to ask me anything, or they're like curious about like my drawing process or anything else in general, honestly, it doesn't even have to be like serious like questions or anything. I'm open to answering questions like, I don't know, what's your favorite food, or I don't know. My brain's like blanking out, but yeah, this might be a good time. Yeah. Questions. What you got? Okay, you have a question. I have an animation question. The look at the background, the stuff that is interactive versus the stuff that moves, characters that interact, how do they do that? What do you mean? Yeah, I'm assuming you mean like let's say boulders, right? Like if their characters are walking through a cave and the cave background is like super painted and rendered, and then you see like this boulder is not painted and you can tell that it's going to like move. Is that what you mean? Like it's like how do they do it? Well, they treat elements that are interactable as the same way that you would treat it for like characters. It's animated on like a cell, or I guess in this case if you're animating on digital, it would be animated on a layer. So it's kind of treated the same way basically. Yeah. What is your dog's name and what breed are they? I got a corgi. His name is King, and he just turned 5, so he's getting big. He's becoming a big boy, and he won't stop eating stuff off the ground when we take him out. So yeah, hopefully he stops eating random doo-doo off the ground so he can live a long life. What is your favorite food though? Because I need it for your Instagram profile. Do you actually? It's burgers. I love them burgers. That's my go-to food. Can't get enough of them burgers. Yeah. You might be like, oh dang, that was so obvious because like I just drew, like I had that illustrated burger. You'll be like, dang. How did I not know? Is it dim sum? You know what? Honestly, if it's not burgers and I had to choose something else, it's Chinese hand-pulled noodles. Oh, those are so good. Oh man. Kevin, I don't know if in your area if you have any like Chinese food, but If you guys have any hand-pulled Chinese noodles, those are amazing. And there's one in like Markham that I really, really like. That one's really good. And the bowls are huge, and you can choose, like, I think they have like 8 varieties of noodles that you can pick from. So like the way they fold it and pull it is different, and the thickness is different. And so that, I would say, is really cool too, because then you can have a little bit of choices on how you're approaching it, or in terms of like how you want to eat it and everything. So yeah, I love that place. I think it's called like Langjiao noodles. Yeah, yeah. Like how you know which rock is going to blow up in Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's because it's not rendered. It's very easy to tell which is like going, like something's going to happen. Yeah. Any recommendations for practicing art to improve daily activities, amount of time, different types of activities? Oh, I think still life is a good one to go for. I think a lot of people kind of forget about doing still lives, which is kind of funny, I guess. That is a good one. Um, Practice, if you're having trouble practicing or drawing people, an exercise that I tell a lot of my students in our like drawing classes is to trace over photos. So learn the basics and the techniques that are required for drawing faces. Like for me, I like using the Loomis method a lot. It is very complicated, but the best way to learn it as well is to trace it over people's faces. And this way, you're not just tracing faces for the fun of it, but you're trying to observe how something technical is applied to something realistic. So that's what I do, especially if I'm like feeling a little rusty and I don't want to put too much effort into doing like a full-on study. That's what I'll do. I'll do some tracing analysis is what I like to call it. It's kind of like deconstructing and observing your portraits or people in real life to understand how to draw them. Another exercise that I like to do is to just free draw. So try to just draw anything, and whether it's good or not, don't worry about it. Just draw it. And I think the exercise is to practice like your imagination, but the other thing is like you're practicing the habit of being okay with drawings that aren't perfect. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, I got a new sketchbook, I don't want to ruin it, I don't want to draw on it. But if you kind of get past and get over the idea of every drawing needs to be perfect, then you're able to practice a lot easier and a lot better and a lot faster this way. There's a lot less things holding you down if you just go for it. So yeah, like not everybody, like you see on YouTube, there's so many people who have like what looks like perfect sketchbooks, and like my sketchbooks aren't perfect. You know, there's a lot of duds in them or bad drawings in them. But you stick with it because, you know, you learn something from it at least. So that's like one other practice or exercise. And then figure drawing. There's a lot of free websites out there that offer figure drawing poses, so you don't have to like if you can't afford one like that's in person, or you can't, there's none near your location, then there's always like websites for you to practice poses on, and that's the best because you get to see how the human body is working. But yeah, those are like some exercises I like to do. Now when it comes to style studying, you can do the same thing, whereas like with the Loomis head where you trace over a human real person's face. With style study, you do the same thing, but instead of just tracing instead of just like tracing the drawing, try to analyze the underlying mannequin underneath. Because if you just try to trace it, what you're not really learning anything. You're just kind of copying and tracing what the person drew. But what you really want to learn is how the person drew it and what kind of structure and methodology they're really using when they're drawing. So that's something that I would recommend, which is to practice finding the underlying drawing underneath. So like the structure, the mannequin head underneath it. Yeah. I know that was a little bit winded, but yeah. Okay. So I'm just going through the questions. You do you keep drawing. Yeah, just keep drawing, just practice. Obviously there's like good practice. If you just mindlessly draw, then you might just end up practicing bad habits. So it's about knowing what the good stuff is to practice. And those are things like observational drawings, doing drawovers of photos and of your favorite artists' stuff so you can learn how they're drawing. Because then it builds up your knowledge of what they're using, kind of like the techniques and whatnot. Yeah. Stop making me hungry. I already ate. I had lunch too, but I'm like I can't eat anymore. I don't want to eat anything. You should see the burger Josh drew. It's a whole scene. Yeah. Wait, Broken Wings, have you finished the burger, or have you kind of just put it on hold for now? Yeah. I mean, I had fun drawing that burger. I was kind of went a little bit off the rails, off the script for that one. Do you have any artists you like to follow or buy books from? James Jean is a big one for me. So for me, what got me into art, or like really got me into art, is this guy named James Jean. Now you might be like, wait, this is not what you expected, because you know this is animation and character design, but James Jean doesn't really do that kind of stuff. But his stuff was really inspirational on how to think about shapes and colors and just the flow of things. The other person is Raul. I think this is how you spell his name. Raul Urias. This is another person. Really love this guy's stuff. Really, really good. Also very shape and almost mosaic-like. So it's a little bit different. It might be a little bit off because you might be like, this looks nothing like what we're drawing. But yeah, these are kind of like the people that I like a lot. Like I go back to looking at their stuff. I'm trying to see if there's another person. Oh, you know what? Here, I'll throw this one. There's an artist who draws a lot of the variant covers for Marvel, and she has her own comics series, but she's mostly the variant cover, and her name is Peach Momoko. Oops. Really good, amazing watercolor artist, and beautiful shapes. Really knows how to use exaggerate characters' anatomies and faces. Highly recommend it. Maybe this is closer to what you guys are expecting when you guys ask for recommendations. But hopefully I offered like 3 different types of artists. There's one that's more painterly and kind of surreal, one that's more pattern and shape and almost mosaic like, and then one that's more character design focused, and one that's more curated for that kind of stuff. Yeah, her art is beautiful. Yeah, I love all 3 of these things, and you know, hopefully got the creative juices going for you guys, because you know, sometimes it's best to look for inspiration away from the stuff that we're drawing. So we're drawing character designs, but sometimes the best stuff comes from people outside of our field. But I guess if I were to give like another answer for like that's character design focus, one of my favorite like right now is Shiun Kim. Can't write the I think this is how you spell his name. Love this guy's drawings. It's so good. And obviously, you know, Glenn Keane. I always forget if Glenn Keane's name is spelled with an E at the end, but I think this is how you spell his name. Yeah. So these 2 is kind of what got me into like loving animation and character design, but this is what got me into like art, I would say. So it's kind of interesting. It's the amalgamation of different artists. And obviously there's like other stuff as well, that like inspires me and I kind of use for like inspiration. But if I were to like trace back to like the origin, it's kind of like these are my artists that I go to a lot. Yeah. It's on hold for Alex Ross, but I started a separate Coke bottle to try to learn it. Oh, nice, nice. I find that practicing every day, even a little with intent, is really big. Yeah, I think intent is like you know a really key word is like how you go into it also plays a role into your intention for practicing. Like when you're practicing it, why are you doing it? Like what's the goal? What's the takeaway for it? Yeah. Her art is beautiful. It is really good. I want to be able to like watercolor like she does. It's crazy. It's so good. So you don't know he's gonna fall in. What? I will point out that DreamWorks early 2D films were good at showing lines for objects that are gonna move, like how they have Moses fall in the well, and the prince. But the rocks. Oh, dude, have you guys seen the pencil animations for like Prince of Egypt? It's so good. The character designs in Prince of Egypt were it's something else. That is something where it's not like the faces, if you look at them, they are quite weird. The shape designs for them is actually pretty odd, but it works. Like it makes sense. You don't look at them and be like, that doesn't work. But then you look at like when it's in motion and it's moving, it's like, oh my goodness. How'd you guys get it to flow like that? It's really it's like magic almost. Some could say it's a miracle. No. Sorry, that was bad. But yeah, the like paper animation, the animation done on the paper, so not like the actual film animation. I mean, like that stuff obviously is what's built off of, but like when you just see it in paper, it's I don't know, it looks so good. Someone liked my pun, I think. Yeah. Miracles? No one else gets it? Yeah. It's like, no, we got it. Okay, let's see. I watched a whole video of a watercolor using fluorescent inks. There's too many mediums to choose. Yeah. What do you think about Kara? Is it Kara? Kara? I don't know. I haven't used it just yet. It's interesting because I know a lot of people were like recommending it and pushing for it. Like I have an account. I haven't used it really though, or like I haven't uploaded anything. So I don't know. Don't really have too much to say about it. It's going to be interesting down the years to see, or even just the few in the months to see how people use it. I think that's going to be um, the real look as to what's going to happen. But I think it's hard. It's just people's lives are already so ingrained with using Instagram as like the place they go to. Like even when you have nothing, even if it's not like art related, it's hard to go to something else. You know, when everybody is still posting on Instagram and when people are still like using it, it's hard to break away from it because it's not just like an art uh, program or social media platform. Like my friends are on it, and so I use it to see what they're doing, and they're not in art, so they're kind of just posting stuff that they're doing in their daily lives, and it's like, oh, I can't really just not use it, you know. So it's kind of hard. Yeah. Sorry, I was not paying attention. Oh, I was just saying, you know, the art in Prince of Egypt is really good. It's you could say it's like a miracle, you know. But I get what you mean. Yeah. It like even for me, I don't use Instagram in such a heavy way that a lot of people do, but I can see why it's hard to break away from it, you know. So yeah, it's interesting though. I think this is things like this with such a big impact on not just what we use, but just on like culture and how we kind of approach, like just a big, it's such a big change to how we do things in our day-to-day lives that it's hard to make a judgment call on like how it's going to be down the road, because it's so dependent on how people react and respond to it. So yeah, the face, I'm not quite there on like how I like how it looks. So I'm gonna leave it like how it is now, but I might edit it and adjust it maybe off stream on my own time. But so far it's not bad though. I like how this is turning out. Like the shape design, the look of it, it's very simplified, so yeah. Did you actually, Kevin? That's crazy. See, that's why they should sponsor us, cuz you unexpectedly got an ad only because I kept mentioning it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you like that joke, right, Shadow Bean? The miracle joke? It's pretty good. I didn't know Carol was a thing. Yeah, I mean like a lot of artists were pushing it, so that's how I found out about it. I didn't even know. I think it existed way before, but it's only now that they're getting like a big push just because of everything that's going on with Instagram and everything. So, yeah. Was there a big I'm glad I wasn't paying attention. You gotta respect the joke, Shadow Bean. Was there a big announcement about it? For Kara? I don't think so. I think there was just this moment when people found out that Instagram was gonna be scraping your pages for its algorithm, like AI algorithm, that people just started being like, whoa, whoa, we don't want that. Okay, let's find another like option. And then people started being like, oh, by the way, I'm on this platform now, or I'm gonna be here. And I think it because of that, people started noticing it, pinging and paying attention to it. So I don't think it was like announced or anything, but it just ended up catching a lot of attention. Yeah. Starverse? What is that? This will be much easier to animate. Yeah, yeah. I think the other thing too is like the simplified aspect of it, but also like now that we're actually doing a cleaned up version of this character, and this drawing is going to help a lot to just help so that I can go back to this whenever we're animating and be like, oh, okay, on this angle, what does he look like? Or how did I draw the shoe? Or like, what is it supposed to look like? That's kind of the point of character design sheets, is that it's so that you can go back and refer to them if you kind of forgot what the character is supposed to look like. So, yeah. But here's the thing, like it's hard for me too, because in a sense, like I look at this and I'm like, oh, I want to add lines here, I want to add decals over here, and it's like, no, I can't add those. So it's I'm not gonna make it them laces. I'm gonna add a little bit of my usual shoe design, and I'm going to make it boxy. Kevin's like, no, no, too much, too many shapes. Stop adding more shapes and lines to it. Algorithms will always be a problem. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything that you can do about it. There was an artist who was saying, it was like Yuko Shimizu. She was saying that like, I think it's great that a lot of people are fighting back on it, and that people want to try out a new platform that speaks to their like what they want for a platform that allows them to share art, but it's not going to make Instagram change. And unfortunately, I do kind of agree with her. I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact on like Instagram, just because I think that's the unfortunate direction that it's going in. Um, so yeah, people are still gonna use it. People are still gonna post it. I think you can for sure move to a different platform, and I think it'll be, and you can kind of take a stance on it. But yeah, it's kind of again, but it's hard to say. That's the thing. It's like it's so new and it's so current, and it has such an effect on the like how we use it in general, like in our lives, that it's hard to say for sure what it's going to do down the line. Okay, there we go. You can add shapes on the colors, like the shadows isn't. Yeah, but I think the reason why maybe not. Well, we'll see. Obviously, we can still like adjust it as once we start animating it, but yeah, we'll see. Just because the more you add, the more I gotta keep in mind of and how to animate it. But let's see. Gonna take a few notes from an animated show called Kipo. Uses a lot of angular lines, but it's like very simplified in how they do it. So gonna try to learn from them a little bit, or like the show designers, the character designers from that show, how they did it. Okay, the eyes, I feel like it's not quite there for me, but I'm gonna leave it for now as a placeholder, and I'm gonna adjust it on my own. It might just be the nose, like it's. We'll see how. That's not it either. We'll see how it goes. I think what it is too is like the simplification of the nose is what I'm trying to figure out. Go for a Scott Pilgrim style of a nose. Let's see how I drew it on. Yeah. Problem is like we changed the style slightly, so it's kind of hard to readjust it. Aren't the pupils too big? Yeah, but he's supposed to be a kid, so that's why I made them really big. It might be a bit too big, but I don't know. That's kind of like the exploration part of it. Might be to figure it out. I don't know. I might have to just figure it out on my own time, or else it'll just be you watching me just like erase, draw a little line, then erase, draw a little line. it wouldn't be. It'll be a little bit too much. So yeah. Okay, it's 4:30. Someone did. So I did put out the poll on like what you guys wanted me to draw for the item for him. So I am going to draw the lantern for that he's gonna use, and it's good too because he's gonna be using a lantern in the sequence as well. So I'm gonna draw a lantern. I'm going to just assume that the lantern is about like, we're gonna keep it simple. Again, nothing too crazy. I didn't want you guys to pick out a really complicated object, so that's why in the polls it was a very simple kind of shape or object. You know, maybe I can play around with like the cleanliness of the lantern. Just joined. What are you guys? What? Kiss? What? What's the kiss for it, Kevin? Just joined. What are you animating, bruh? Not animating. We are just designing and cleaning up the character. So that's what I'm doing right now. Well, right now I finished the character cleanup, and right now I am designing his kind of lantern. Yeah. Oh, keep it simple. I feel like I have heard that before. Yeah. If you guys have ever seen my style, you'll know that simplicity is not... Well, actually, no, that's not necessarily true. I think I draw simple, but what I end up doing is I add a lot of like extra bits, like in the line work and everything. That's not very animation friendly. So like the fold details and nuances and stylistic choices that are not it's a little bit hard to animate. Hey, cool. Yeah, I wanted something that's kind of almost, I don't know how to describe it, but I wanted this like pattern on the lantern to make it a little like kind of spooky, or not spooky, but like, you know, a little like Gravity Falls-ish, you know, with the designs and everything. Has anybody used Kara though? I guess speaking of like Kara and bringing it up, has anybody tried it out? Like used it? Like I do see the people I follow on it, but I've never really checked out whether they like how frequently people ended up using it for. Oh. Yeah, me too. My first thought went to Kiss the band, and I was like, Kiss? The band? Kiss? It's like, dang, Kevin. I never listened to Kiss though. That was not my genre of music. Have you ever seen Kiss? I just said that's what I thought he meant. I wasn't saying that that's what I listened to. No. Why are you Shadowbean? Are you a fan of Kiss? I guess you are, since you asked if I've seen them live. You got my hopes up. My bad. Sorry. Who have I seen? Oh, I've seen Florence and the Machine live. She was really good. She was so good live. And it's crazy too because she's like running around the stage. She like ran into the audience and she still was singing, but while like running around and everything. So she was really good. I love Florence and the Machine. Do you think TJ has a reference from the show Recess might help? For the hoodie reference, I mean. Oh, you know what? That could be cool. Could look into that. How the hoodie there was drawn. Yeah, could take a little bit of notes and inspiration for how it's simplified there. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Also, this is a really big land. You know what this looks like? This looks like the Xbox Series X land. If the Series X looked like this, honestly, I would get it. Handles. Maybe a little higher. We're just gonna keep the handle simple. We're keeping it like very Bauhaus or not, this is, I guess, technically not Bauhaus style, but very simple, slightly magical or mystical in a sense of a lantern, but yeah. Wait, Shadowbeam, what are you saying yes to? Yes to the... Have you seen them live? I guess they're good. They're old, though. I guess they... do they still perform? I didn't know they still perform. It's like kind of... like the same with like Guns N' Roses. Although I don't know how old Guns N' Roses are. Before I get get your hopes up, I also do not listen to Guns N' Roses, but... I know of them. But they're old too. I feel like Guns N' Roses, they're old. Yeah. Farewell tour recent. That's when I saw them live. Oh, okay. They look like urns. I mean, the PS5 honestly really does look like a router. I think that's pretty funny that it legitimately looks like a router. But what is it? You know what? Like I feel like you gotta commend Sony for doing something a little bit different. Does it look a little odd? Yeah. It's a choice. It was definitely a choice for them to design their console, their flagship console, to look like a router. But you know, it's different. Do I like it? No. I think it looks weird, but it's, in a sense, it's I gotta give them a little bit of props for doing something a little bit different. Yeah. What's crazy though is like I realized my PS4, and I don't have like the Pro or anything. I have like the original base. That thing is about to hit 10 years old. My PlayStation... Oh wait, it's more... Yeah, okay, I've had my PlayStation. It's about to hit like 5 years old, 10 years old. I've had my PlayStation for 10 years, and it still runs totally fine. It's still totally normal. It's perfectly fine. It does not overheat. Like I see a lot of it on like people going like, oh, mine sounds like an airplane now when I play Last of Us, and it's like, oh, mine has the fan on, but it doesn't, like, it cools down after a while. So honestly, my PlayStation's like working totally fine, and I'm kind of surprised by that. GNR have been active since 1985, so yeah, they're old. Yeah, that's dang. That's crazy. Kevin, it's now time to hop onto the new kids. Hop onto like the new bands, the new hot bands. You know, the stuff that them kids are listening to. My PS2 still works. Really? Dang, that's crazy. I hope that's how it'll be like for my PS4. Is it like down the road I could still turn it on and play, like, I don't know, the games that I have physically bought for it? That would be nice. That'd be cool. New Kids on a Block. Gotta be. Do they? Oh my goodness. I feel like I don't even go out of my way to listen to new artists anymore. This is where we expose what kind of music we listen to. I feel like, dude, it's always so nerve-wracking going to the music store and buy music. Even like back when I was in like university and I would go to like HMV and I'd be like, don't judge me. Don't judge the music I listen to. Just let me... I could feel the eyes. I could feel the judgment, you know. Don't judge me for it. Oh, that's true. Yeah. FF7, Xenogears, and Star Ocean 2. Oh, nice. Are those the games you have on your PS2? That's pretty cool. Yeah, because this... So, I don't think I'll be able to get the other angle in for the stream ends, but I will finish it because this one, I will need to do it for, like, when we go into the actual animation. So I will finish it and, like, complete it so that we have something to base the character on. Yeah. HMV sponsors, dude, I loved HMV. I was so sad when they started closing them down. Oh my goodness. Once class was done, I would drag my friend to HMV and like not even to buy anything, literally just to wander around the store, the one downtown, because that one was huge. That one was ginormous. And then not buy anything. And then just kind of look at what movies there were, be like, oh, that'd be cool. That's a cool looking movie. I would like to maybe watch that. Not gonna buy it, but you know, that looks cool. And then they closed, and it was so sad. It was a sad day. Physical copies, yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I try to buy like the physical copies if I can. Especially if the game is like well regarded, then I don't mind like giving out or supporting the studios and the creators on the games. And now it's got... No, did you hear? HMV teamed up with Toys R Us now. So there's a Toys R Us that opened, and they're like, yeah, we also have HMV and Toys R Us. And I was like, hello? What? You brought HMV back, but only in Toys R Us? Okay. It's like, if we're gonna burn together, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out together. Toys R Us and HMV. Two things that nobody wants anymore. It's so sad. Yeah, I don't think they have their own store, but like if you go to Toys, I think it's some Toys R Us. They collabed and teamed up with HMV, and so you can buy like vinyls and movies at Toys R Us because they teamed up with HMV and Toys R Us. They teamed up together, so it's kind of jokes. Yeah. Hey, cool. We have our character and we have our lantern, so this is what it looks like. You know, since we got a little bit of time, somebody recommended, what is it, to look for TJ from Recess. Let's take a look at what he looks like. Oh, do you notice he's not wearing a hoodie? Because you said he wears a hoodie the whole time. I was like, oh yeah, hoodie. Did you notice he's wearing a bomber jacket? What? It's not a hoodie. That's funny. What the? Did not expect that. We've been lied to. It's the Mandela effect or something? Is that what it's called? Yeah. That's jokes. Yeah, this is like definitely an approach. I don't think this is like my type of style, but definitely some like nice takeaway. It's actually very similar to the original approach, which is like it tapers up, it thins out at the neck, and then big head, boxy pants and everything. Yeah. Actually, the style I wanted to somewhat replicate, kind of, was Scott Pilgrim's style, but I don't know if I would want to necessarily pull that off, yeah. Well, okay, some guy, so who mentioned it? Oh, wait, Ariana Bell, you did mention it, yeah. So, Ariana was like TJ from the hoodie for reference, but then you later on cleared it up and it's like, oh, it's actually a bomber. It's a jacket, but the way he wears a hoodie shape, I think that makes sense. Yeah, he should have had a hoodie. I realized that after I commented. I mean, isn't that funny though? How it's like, yeah, you wore a hoodie. What else would it be? Of course, it's a hoodie, but it's not. I think that's pretty. It's kind of neat. You know, I think this might be a good chance to play around with the head shape. I'm gonna make a copy of this. And with the copy, I think I like everything so far. I like the bagginess, the boxiness of it, the square, kind of more linear shape for the pants. But I want to play around with the hair shape. I think that's what I want to experiment with. You know what? We'll go back with the shoulders. So we'll kind of make it a little tapered in upwards. Kind of similar to what we saw with the recess drawing. I think we'll do something like that. A bit more snug. You know, he looks pretty snug actually. Yeah. My apologies. No. Yeah, no worries, no worries. We are going to change the face up though. I know, so last minute. I'm gonna change the face. We're gonna change the style just a little bit, because I want him to look a little bit more like a kid. Gonna have to change some stuff up. Maybe we make the ears just slightly bigger. Something a bit more stylized, just to see if it'll make it, I don't know, a bit more like stand out. Maybe the hair's too high. I don't know. Trying to play around a little bit with like the shape of the character and the flow of it. Well, he's also supposed to be like slightly got that attitude. I feel like this one's a bit better. It does look like more like a kid in oversized clothing. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think right now this is really more just fine-tuning and seeing if there's anything that I can do to push it even more. Whether it's like with the eye size or with the I don't know, design of the face and everything. Like, it's subtle, but it does play a big role in how we end up perceiving the way he looks. So yeah. And also I want to make it like fun to draw once we start animating him. Maybe I feel like part of it is like the nose. I don't know. It's like slowly coming together though. So yeah. I think, should we make the hair bigger? I feel like this flat top maybe is just not, it's not it. Should we just, maybe I should add like one more shape to it. Do like the whole Mickey Mouse illusion thing where it's not going to necessarily be realistic or follow realistically with how it bends, but it's just Sonic now. It's just Sonic. It's just changing it up. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say it, but I feel like it's gonna change. Shit, it's gonna it's gonna affect the way maybe you guys see it. It's got a Boruto kind of vibe. Bart Simpson's teen years. Oh, okay. You know what? That's a better take. But I already said it. It's giving me a little bit of like Boruto kind of vibes. But I don't know. It's fine. I haven't read it, so I just hear it doesn't live up to the legacy of Naruto. But actually, maybe this should be closer here. Lisa Simpson's teen. Oh my. No. Yeah, I think this is a bit better in terms of like the balance. Maybe I'll also bring this up a little bit. I don't know. It's like the flow of the character. I think it's almost there, but not quite. But it's like it's getting. I think it's getting there for sure. Yeah. Okay, so we are coming near the end of the stream. I think this is a good place to put the design of it. I'm definitely gonna work on it a little bit more off stream. This way I can kind of clean up the subtle stuff or continue to refine it in a way that I kind of like it. But yeah, we only got like the 3/4 design and the lantern design, but I'm gonna clean it up on my own and finish up the other other two angles so that we could see how it looks in its full kind of rotation. And I might experiment a little bit more with the eye design as well to, I don't know, push it to a further degree. But I think this is a good simplification of what we originally had. So it does lose a bit of the edge that was there originally. So we show what he used to look like. This is what he used to look like, but the thing is, like, this is a bit harder to animate just due to the complexity and the shapes that are there. But this helps to streamline it a little bit more, so it's easier and more manageable to draw. Like, I simplified the shoes a lot, simplified the cargo pants and the details there, and the jacket is a bit more, I think, manageable. But yeah, I think this is a good place to end. Oh, I forgot the earring. Gotta add the earring there. But yeah, I'm gonna miss the hair. I think like the crazy hair. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a different rendition of it on the expressions stream, and then we can see if I can add this crazy hair back in. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the stream. Thank you everybody for joining us. And before we head off, again, would just like to mention this stream is sponsored by XPPen, and if you guys are curious about getting a tablet, maybe check them out. But XPPen, our sponsor, is having a contest with digital art tablet prize pack. So maybe if you've been wanting to get a tablet, maybe you don't have to go out and buy one just yet. You can maybe enter into the contest and have a chance to win a tablet. The theme is The Little Prince's Journey. Draw his journey from planet to planet and all the characters he meets along the way. You could win an XPPen screen tablet, so hurry. There's only one day. There's only one day more to submit before it closes on June 24th. So go check it out now. The links are in the description below. And if you are curious about the prizes, this is what is and what it looks like. And I believe this is the page, or I think this is the previous page. I showed this yesterday, but if you go to the bottom, you can see what people have been submitting if you need some kind of inspiration or some kind of ideas as to what you can draw. But these are so far what people have submitted. So again, thank you XPPen for sponsoring this stream. It's yeah, it's amazing that we get to continue being sponsored by them. So again, thank you. And thank you guys for joining our stream. And before we end, we're going to have our little closing statement as usual. But if you guys don't know who we are and you're just joining us, we are Wing Canvas. If you by chance missed the stream, don't worry. The VOD or the VOD will go back up after the stream ends, so you can watch it all the way from the beginning and catch stuff you might have missed. So no worries about that. But we are but if you don't know who we are Wing Canvas. We are a YouTube channel that make art tutorial videos, tips, tricks, and drawing advice to better help our fellow art nerds in this art community of ours. Our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone, so be sure to tune in live for free lessons every Saturday, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, just like how you guys are right now. And if you are an art nerd, be sure to check out our social media in the description below. It's a great place to check out all of the works that we do once stream ends. So once the stream is over, I am going to post this drawing up on Discord and then afterwards onto the following social media platforms. This way you can take a look at it outside of YouTube. So yeah, but if you're curious about our classes, you can check out our website for class offerings, where you can get critiques, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we are also a school of illustration. And again, we'd like to bring up and mention and thank our Patreon members and YouTube members who help support us making free art education content. Members get access to tons of perks, such as exclusive chats from our creators, weekly live critiques on Discord, class recordings, digital artworking files from our streams, and discount on live programs that have a limited amount of spots. So if you want to help support the channel or accelerate the learning, consider becoming a member. And again, just like a quick mention, if you're not too sure, we do live critiques every week. It rotates amongst all of us instructors, and the next upcoming one is Faye. She will be critiquing on Friday. So if you want to make that live critique, you can support us on Patreon and you'll get access to the members only Discord. So if that's kind of sounds interesting to you, maybe check out our Patreon. And yeah, that's about it, I believe. Thank you everybody for joining, and thank you for chatting and hanging out with me as I design and kind of clean up our character Nils over here. Yeah, and we're going to be using this character for the next part of our animation sequence series. The next one is the next one that I'm going to be streaming for is an expression sheet. So yeah, we're going to be taking this character and doing some expressions with it. So that's going to be exciting, and hope you guys are looking forward to that one. Yeah, and see you guys. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Back here on July 7th. Yes. Woo. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye.